Well, hello and welcome to Domain to Profit. I am Drew Wash. If you are joining me on Restream, well, welcome. This is a live show. So know that during the filming, there's lots of people in the community joining us talking about domain names. If you can ever join us, Monday, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, I would love to have you. So, for all of you who are coming in from the community, welcome. It's always nice to have you. I see everybody coming in, see some great information coming into the chat already, which I'll share as we get going. That's awesome. I see some awesome stuff. So once we get the music going, you will see exactly what the chat's talking about. There's money being made is what it comes down to, which that's kind of nice on a domain to profit show when people are taking domains and making profit. Yeah, I like that. So today we have a pretty basic show. And by basic, I mean over 100,000 domain names are going to be showing up in our filtered domains. What does that mean? That means over 100,000 domains meeting our search criteria are for auction this week. We are going to look to just the top 200 to 400 domains or so, but they're the top ones. So going to be worth it. We're going to be looking through domains, talking about the best ones. How do we use them to make money? What are they worth? How do you justify the prices that are being charged for domain names based on keyword data and advertisers and so on? Much of what we talk about every single week, because it's the right way to do it. That's why we do it. So we're going to continue to do it. And I'm saying do it quite a bit in there. So there we go. So I guess we need to do it. Here we go. Drew Wash, Domain to Profit. See you on the other side of this.
From domain to profit, from a .com to a business idea. Take a domain name, develop an income from domain to profit. We'll show you how. Domain to profit, from domain to profit. Join Drew Wash and get started right now.
So we got, so let me just kind of show some of the chat that we have going on. Just always what I start off with. We got the first one into the chat. Nice to have you, Richest Domains. Yeah, aka L Couch. Well, it just depends on what accounts they're signed in that day. Mike, nice to have you as well. And then this is where we kind of like, hey, here we go. Hopping in, just finished selling a domain name. First domain name in 2 years being sold. Congratulations on that. And then we got to continue on. And then we saw, oh, Peach and Taxi, nice to have you as well. And then Mike chimed in with this. Boom, just sold one today myself. Yeah, look at that, peeps. 2 people, some of the earliest people to get here at 3 p.m. Is that related? Does that mean something? I don't know. Probably not, but maybe. Maybe I can't help. Is it causation or not? We don't know. Moving down the chat here. David, nice to have you with us live as well. I see you over on Twitter. I've had some good chats over there. And then Matt back from Japan. I would speak Japanese to you, but I don't know any. I can't. Not even a meme type word. But nice to have you all with us. We are going to be looking through domain names, and obey me, computer. Okay. So what does that look like? That looks like this here. This is expireddomains.net, and I will put up where you can find the filters that we use. So right up there, boop, you can scan that QR code. That will take you to a YouTube video where we show the filters that we use to create this list here, expireddomains.net. expireddomains.net, free service and not paid to say it, but we love it. It's the best one out there. And what can you do with expireddomains.net? Well, you can look through expiring domain names. Many of them across numerous different registrars. Registrars are the place where you get domain names. GoDaddy being the main one that we look through because they are the largest. So basically that's pretty much what we end up doing. So the filter is already set up. We filtered it down filtered it down to 104,000 domains. Look at that, 104,000 domains, and that's even after we filtered down our domain names to the quantity that we have. Then once they're filtered down, we order by the valuation over here, and I am so glad to be back into my studio where I can see everything and everything. Anyhow, last week I was remote in Orlando, so it's always a bit of a challenge to do the remote streams. So how does this work? We look through the list, now that we have it filtered down, and we start at the top, which in theory are the best domain names, and we just work down, talking about domain names as we go. So this is literally the most time I spend looking through domains this week. I always encourage you as well to have a routine set up for your domains, mostly because you don't make the money on the looking for domains and the buying domains. You make them by taking action and building something and or selling your domain names, like a few in the chat have done. So don't get caught up on the search. It feels productive, it feels good, but it is not how you should be spending the majority of your time. I spend this hour with you and probably another hour over the course of the week looking through domain names. So don't, just highly recommend that, because you can make the money back. You can't make the time back, is really what it comes down to. So let's see here. I see a request for, could we please discuss the lack of bids on Dan, even though the prices are super low? Not sure what you mean by that, Peachland Taxi. Number of bids on Dan, even though the prices are super low. Not following you on that one. Maybe the chat or Discord can help you with that, which I will put up the link to Discord here in a little bit. That's their server where we hang out. I want to look at some domain names though. Let's keep on moving on. China Home, Focal Points. Yeah, so those are the two most valuable domain names according to GoDaddy, but I'm just skipping right down. Let's see which one we're going to start with first. Marshy is kind of fun, but what are you going to do with Marshy? I don't know. Charge My Car. Charge My Car. Let's go check that one out. This one's going to be a tough one. It's going to go for way too much, probably. $162 currently. This domain name auction ends in 5 days. ChargeMyCar.com. What do you expect to find on ChargeMyCar.com? That is what you always have to ask. That's the most important question there is. What do you expect to find on ChargeMyCar.com? I expect to find where to charge my car. Makes sense? Since we are looking at .com only domain names, we drop the .com, we break up the words as you see above, and then now we are looking at that domain name not as a domain name, but instead as the keywords that make up the domain name. We do that because if people are searching for the keywords of our domain name, then that means that we have access to that industry, which is what great domain names do. They give you access to an industry. They give you access, prestige, authority to people that don't know, that you might not have a clue about what is on that domain name. For example, Charge My Car. I drive a 2005 gas guzzling little Mazda 3 thing. I have no idea. I've never charged a car, so I don't know anything about this, but it does not change the fact that somewhere out there someone does. Here we go. 100 monthly searches. That means people are typing in Charge My Car 100 times a month. I imagine that will increase over time. And then we want to take those keywords. We're going to select them and do a Control F on our browser. We do that because it highlights all the places that the exact keywords appear. That's helpful to be able to determine whether the keyword, other ways that our keyword is being used or our keyword set. You see here, Charge My Car Near Me, right up here. That's one of my favorite phrases to see. That means our domain name can be broken up into a local search. You probably figured that out just based on the name. Charge My Car, I'm guessing people are asking how to do it, and then where to do it. And then when there's a where question, there is near me questions. 440 times people are searching for that each month. Again, likely going to increase. And let's go see if there's money involved. And this is also what I expected here. Cost per click is 0. Nobody's actually making money off of this keyword yet. 0 advertisers, meaning nobody's even trying to make money off of this. That right there is going to kill this domain name. You can purchase as a speculation. So if you were to purchase, you would be doing it thinking, hey, Charge My Car, electric cars are being pushed so much now that somewhere out in the future, Charge My Car could be something, even though right now it's just 100 searches a month, plus the 440 for near me. Not sure what to put on this one. I have, for me, that kind of range where I group domain names. I'll toss a couple $100 at almost any domain name I like. Then I will escalate that to maybe $400 for one that's okay as well. But then when I start to get into, I want this domain name, I start to just, I personally set like a 688 or a $700, $800 domain. That's my speculation type money. Yours may be less or more, just depending on your budget, your experience, and so on. You do not want to be spending a good amount of your budget on speculation type domain names, by the way. Just like you don't want to put all your money into one stock, you don't want to put all your money into one category, that being speculation. That's an important thing to think about, actually. In my opinion, most of my money, by far the majority of my domain investing money, goes towards domain names like towing.com, the one that I've already made millions off of, and domains that I know will fit my business model. So have your bread and butter. That's where you want to spend the majority of your money. Speculation on this and so on, you want to limit that. So for me, this one ends in 5 days, $162 currently. I'll add it to my watch list, but realistically, it's probably going to get deleted. I don't think I will even put a $400 bid on it. So, but there we go. Started it off. ChargeMyCar.com. What is this? So let's say you're new to this. What does that mean? What are these domains that we're seeing here? These are domain names that the previous owner has purchased. They held possibly for years, maybe even had it developed, maybe even had a successful site on the domain name, and now they're letting the domain name go. Either they forgot about it, the credit card declined, and they're busy on some vacation somewhere, or they're just choosing to let that domain name go because they don't realize the value and potential it has. Whatever it is, the domain name is up for auction. And at the end of that auction, when it sells, if it sells, you or the purchaser will be able to take that domain name to buy it, sell it, build it, trade it, whatever it is. Or if you buy the wrong domain name, one that's a trademark, you might just win a lawsuit where somebody sues you with a trademark suit. So there are landmines in this field. The domain names we talk about are typically generics like that. Charge My Car should be pretty free and clear. And there we go. You think it'll go higher.com? GoHigher.com, not really a big fan of it. But you might find it. That one falls in a category that I call a marketing domain name. So Go Higher, I think it does. A marketing domain name would be a domain name that you see in marketing. So a phrase like buy now, money back guarantee, something that many marketers will use, and it's kind of a generic phrase that they use in their marketing. Go Higher, I don't quite, other than people on The Price is Right, where they're telling people to bid higher, nobody's really saying it, so I'm going to move on from that one. You can check any of these domain names out that you want over on SpyFu, which I did not introduce. That is the tool that we use here. This is SpyFu.com. SpyFu.com does keyword data from Google and the search engines to help you know how many times people are looking for keywords. So virtualexpert.com. So many people are currently scrambling to get domain names in that are related to Chat GPT and all this AI stuff, and they're like buying this and that GPT. I would much rather own a domain name like Virtual Expert. What do you expect to find on virtualexpert.com? Well, you're probably looking for some kind of expertise. Virtual Expert would be a great artificial intelligence domain name, and it's not so nerdy. It's not a nerdy GPT type thing. Who knows? Maybe GPT will end up in our vocabulary long term. I believe that AI is just going to be there. It's just going to be part of things, and we're not going to label it as such. It instead might be a virtual expert. Here's all the virtual experts out there, and realistically, what are they? They're a bunch of AI bots and things. I do like this domain name. Ends in 6 days. Adding it to my watch list. Let's go see what the searches are for it, or if we're just going to be speculating as in maybe it'll be good someday. Virtual Expert, 28 searches, really not much happening with it. So it's probably going to fall when we don't see exact match keywords, like 28 over there. That's really not setting any records. What that means is most likely we are looking at a brandable domain name, a domain name that, what is a virtual expert? We don't know yet, but if you own this domain name, you can define what a virtual expert is. We do have some advertisers, but they're not paying anything. So there you go. I like to, and I say this, I love seeing it in Discord. People were sharing that that they know I want to see 10 advertisers or more, not 3, and I want to see cost per click at $2 or more, and we see none of that here. So we will move on from virtualexpert.com. Free vaccine sounds horrible. Free traders, again, the word free in a domain name just kind of sounds like a side project at best, a marketing gimmick. If you have free in it, then how are you going to make money? Okay. Dream Coach. Remote Lawyer, that's one of the ones I think I mentioned on my title screen. RemoteLawyer.com. Again, I like this one from possibly a AI type thing, where basically RemoteLawyer.com, you're going remote lawyer, you're finding this bot or something that's, or a real person through RemoteLawyer.com that is acting as a lawyer. $189 currently, ends next week, just before the show. Let's go to SpyFu and see if people are currently looking for remote lawyers. $28 times people are looking for it. We'll give it a Control F. Remote lawyer jobs, right up behind me there. 220 times people are looking for jobs. Another 80 for remote lawyer job. So people are looking for employment, but nobody's actually looking for a remote lawyer. So, advertisers, only one advertiser. Again, not really much money happening. So what do you think? Speculation? Buy it for speculation? That's pretty much what the current bidders are doing. On this one, I probably would speculate. I will probably put a couple, at least my 688 bid in. I doubt I'll break 4 figures, which is that first real threshold for me on whether I want a domain name. I don't want it enough to go above above 1,000. Okay, securit.com. No, securedit.com. I almost made a mistake there, just under remote lawyer right here. Not really liking that one. I liked it a lot more when it was securit.com. Movement Group, it's brandable. My Bucks, I think we talked about that last week. That might be gone as of this point. working on it. That's a pretty good example of a marketing type domain name. It doesn't have to be in marketing. It could be just a common phrase that we all might say. Hey, did you get those reports done? You got your TPS reports done? No, I'm working on it. Workingonit.com. So I could see that being a maybe a to-do list or a basic application to help organize to-do items. $450 currently, ends in 3 days. Who knows how much search volume's on it? Let's go check it out just in case. We'll do this real quick. And as always in the chat, let me know if you see a domain name that I am passing over that you want to discuss. I'm happy to do that. 810 searches. So out of all the domains we've looked at so far, workingonit.com, 3 words, 810 searches is the most. We'll do the Control F just for the fun of it. Not really much. Oh, there you go. You can see, look at that. I'm working on it. Boom, right there. I like that. That wouldn't work as a domain name because the apostrophe is not there. I don't know what you'd end up being. I am working on it. Okay. No money happening, no advertisers, which that is one of the most important things. This is probably going to fall into that blog type domain name. What are you going to put on it? You could do an app, but again, there's no brand there. There's searches, but what do they expect to find? What do you expect to find on workingonit.com? I don't know. I like to think of it, maybe you could do a like a blog for build in public type of stuff. Like, hey, here's the things I'm working on. I'm working on it. Maybe, maybe not. I do like the domain name for that reason. It's kind of a fun domain. And I believe I had it on my watch list. Yes, I do. Clapback, welcome in. Welcome in. Data flight. So some of these are fun. Food specialist. Snore just sounds like I'm sure that's an okay domain. I just get tired of the word specialist. It's kind of like, how many other words would you rather have than specialist? In fact, let's just kind of go look real quick. Specialist. Okay, here's what I'm looking for here, the similar ones. So we have, and you'll see all these. So one of the things we look at when we look at domain names is, what are all the valid or reasonable alternatives to the domain name we're looking at? When you start to get into domains like domains that have specialist in it, you're competing with all these other words. So, and you see these all the time. My wife just commented last night, she saw a commercial for a product that was something gurus. And everybody's a freaking guru. She's like, I'm so tired of seeing the word guru. And I agree, and I don't even see that on this list. Experts, gurus, authority, specialists, all those words are going to be similar to the one that we're looking at here, which is like food specialist. So you have food specialist, food guru, food gurus, like, it's exhausting to think about all the alternatives. Keep that in mind if you're interested in a domain name like food specialist. There are a lot of alternatives. Yes, they might be good domain names. All of them could be worth something. But at the same time, you are playing with a ton of other domain names. Don't get caught up on that. So let's see here. Next photo. Was Ninja on the list? Yeah. I like Ninja. I like the little brandable ones. Those are my investment type domain names. Buy them for cheap, sell them for cheap, turn and burn. I just was setting up one. I'm not like Michael or Richest Domains that made a sale today, but I have people contacting me about a couple domain names. Let me see what. None of them with Ninja in them. One of them has boss in it, but those words that like are titles, if it's a great blog type domain name, like food specialist, that's probably a pretty good blog. If you can buy it for a few hundred and look to sell it for a couple thousand, then that's a good transition. That's a good market create, but that's not going to be a domain name you're going to buy. Most likely not going to develop it unless you indeed are a food specialist, and you're certainly, I don't know, in my opinion, I wouldn't be looking for 5 figures for something like that. You're hurting the world if you're getting kind of that greedy about things. Computer society. Society is another one of those words that community, society, organization. So the thesaurus is your friend when you look at domain names. We don't talk about that almost at all. 142 weeks of this show, and I don't think we've really talked about alternative words. When you consider your domain names, what domain names you're investing in, how do you come up with the prices, you have to think about the alternatives. This is a supply and demand market where the demand for a certain topic may be high, and then you have to look at all the words that can be tagged onto it. And in some cases, there's so many additional tag-on words, it just completely pollutes it, and you should not expect to make money on a domain name if there's too many alternatives to, yeah, too many alternatives. Eventually, you'll make a couple thousand, but certainly not going to be something you're going to make a fortune. Some notes, somenotes.com. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I am so tired. Here you go. Somebody, investing guru. I bet you I'm going to click on this. I have no idea. It's probably already over $1,000. People lose their mind over the word investing and then guru. Like, ugh. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to add it to my watch list because that's just what I do. I was actually, I put a thread up on Twitter, in fact. I was talking about how I use, it was in regards to GoDaddy closeouts. If a domain name goes to the expiring domain name auction and no one bids on it, it goes to closeout, which means it's for sale, but no, it's not yet available for registration. So part of what I was talking about when in that paragraph that I put out there, basically, I add a ton of stuff to my watch list anymore. I add probably 100 domain names a week. And then each week, it's 100 big old list, and then it goes down until about next week. It is down to about nothing. But use that list. You know, just add them to your watch list, and then kind of delete them as you know you don't want to mess with them. That's what I've been doing at least. Is it a good way to do it? I don't know. I think so. Specialty service. So generic. So generic. I don't know. Let's go click on it. Let's go research it. I want it to do better. Oh, that's what, see, so here we go. This is an opportunity. Oh, there is one bidder already. You can see that down behind my, right here. There's one bidder on this, meaning this domain name will sell tomorrow. So what will it go for? Who knows? Let's go see if it's worth anything. The fact that it's only $12 currently makes me wonder, it must not have much searches. Yeah, so it's so generic that nobody really searches for it. That happens with some of these domains. No money behind it, not really seeing much happen. Specialty service, it's just so generic. Just, yeah. Page down. And I am going to take the filter video down and put up our QR code for our Discord chat. And there you go. That it should be working. If you're not on the Discord server, you can scan that and get over to that and join us there. Actually, I'm going to be over there after this to type. I'm going to try to put into basically a formula how I evaluate a generic keyword like a towing.com or something like that. Well, I talk about it here all the time. If it ever shows up, I will give you the rundown. But to put it into an actual like function, that's a little, I don't know. I've never really thought about it. Or I've not really thought about it enough to be able to type it out real quick, but I'm going to after the show. Does that even make sense? Am I making sense? I'm a little more tired than what I realized. Okay, more coffee. Coffee cast. Not a clue what that is, so I'm going to move on, but talking about coffee domains while drinking coffee sounds like a pretty good way to go through life. Rightmovers.com. Probably guessing that's more of a brandable type domain name. Ends in 4 days. Let's go check if it is a brandable. What would I expect to find if it is a brandable? I expect to find very little searches. 180 is actually surprisingly more than what I expected, meaning it may be a trademarked word. No advertisers, no cost per click, and right choice movers, the right movers. I'm guessing right movers, people are looking for moving companies with right in their name is how it's getting that keyword data. You'd have to kind of make sure that, or judge how you feel about, there could be trademark stuff there. There could be somebody that messes with that. Keep that in mind. Okay. Trying to make sure that the Discord thing up there doesn't block too many of the domain names. Right impact. Sometimes we get to start your adventure. Sounds like a marketing good domain name. Start your adventure. I feel like I've seen that or heard that in travel, like travel commercials. Let's go check it out. I like Start Your Adventure. I like it. $93 currently, ends in 3 days. Start Your Adventure, 3 words. You can check it for trademarks over at the Trademark Office, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, USPTO. Start Your Adventure. Probably low keyword volume. Indeed. Your adventure starts here. That's probably the one that I'm thinking of. I've heard that from somewhere, from some travel commercial. In fact, as I look down here, I'm seeing snorkeling, scuba diving, so it must be something to do with travel. So, but anyhow, 80 searches for it. Not really sure what I'd do with it. Add it to my watch list. Moving on. I feel like that is today. Today we are adding to watch list and moving on. And as you can see, I zoom in quite a bit. There's a lot of data. Last week at the end of the show, I talked about adding this data here, which is the SEMrush data. You may want to go back and look at that last 5 minutes. Very helpful if you're looking for domain names that have been developed before. I don't necessarily do that, but you maybe do. How do we feel about sell versus sale? Specifically referring to sellscraps.com. I'd rather have sell scrap, singular. 2 days left, $12. No bids. You can see that right here behind me. There's no bids. That means do not bid. See what happens. If you're going to bid, if you know you want to bid on this, wait until 5 minutes left in the auction to place your bid. What will happen is the auction always extends by 5 minutes. So you want to wait until as close to 5 minutes as possible, in my opinion. Let's go check the keyword data. I don't know if this one's going to be worth a darn or not. Sell scraps. Make sure that's what it was. Yes, sell scraps. Less than 20, sell scrap metal near me. Again, singular is what we have in that middle section there. That's kind of what I feel like scrap is how people refer to it. Scraps. That sounds like something you toss to the dog underneath the table. You don't, yeah, everything's singular. So this domain name's close. So this is an almost domain name. An almost domain name is something you need to avoid. You will waste your money on almost domain names. That is a word to the wise. If it's almost good, do not get the domain name. It will sit there forever. Best case scenario, you will sell it to somebody else that makes the mistake. Why hold it until then? Green gurus. There's that freaking guru word again. Less contact. Link verify. Verify link would be better. Jeffrey in the chat, I always appreciate you mentioning liking, subscribing, that kind of stuff. I'm not much for self-promotion. That's also why I have less than 1,000 subscribers. But the ones I have, you are awesome. Thank you for being here with me. We don't want like too many people to know about the channel yet, right? Like it's one of those things. alignmy.com, align my tires, align my back. Not really. Let's go check that one out. So what am I doing here? I align my ends in 2 days, $12 currently, no bid. So it's going to be one you're going to want to wait till the last minute if you're going to bid on it. I sold, I've talked about this domain name quite a few times. movinga.com. I sold. The reason why I bought it was because I thought it was going to be a great domain hack. So moving a house, moving a apartment. But it's movinga.com / and then you can have whatever you're moving. Align my, I'm guessing there's going to be a bunch of keywords, maybe not. Oh yeah, maybe not. Not as much happened as what I had hoped. So my thought was maybe this would be like moving A, where there are different things that are being aligned and we could just have align my and then have, it's not going to happen that way. It doesn't look like so. Okay. Excuse me. Trade any scrap. Somebody must be losing their scrap portfolio. Go wake. Wake and bake. No, not wake. I'm just kidding. That domain's not here. Brew tracker. Brew tracker. I'm going to look that one up. Not sure. Ends tomorrow, $12 currently. Does have a bid. What does that mean? That means you do need the bid if you want to buy the domain name. It will not go to closeout. If there's no bidders, there's a chance that no one bids. It will go to closeout and you can just buy it. 28 monthly searches, brew tracker, no advertisers. I like this one as a brandable. So this one might get like a little bit of a speculation for me. What would I put on it? You know, I don't know. I probably would just wait and sell it. But I could see it being, this is always the exercise I like to do imagination-wise, like what do you see on a domain name? The easier the picture is, the more the picture you have in your mind for a domain name, if it matches almost everyone else, then that's a great domain name. If your picture is super elaborate, super out there, super high tech, in that case, that domain name probably sucks. If it takes a lot of explanation to say what should be on that domain name, in fact, it does suck. Brew Tracker, I could see it being something where it's like you can track. For example, my favorite beer is a Sam Adams beer called Porch Rocker, and Porch Rocker is only available in, it's very seasonal, so it's a seasonal beer, and I could see brewtracker.com having when that beer is available, and maybe others can track their microbrews and the different places when their beers are in season or something. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not really that big of a beer fan, but I could see somebody that is a beer fan putting that up there, and I might be a visitor versus a owner of the domain. Again, look how much explanation it took to explain that. That means it's not all that great, but then again, we see that in the price. That's why it's so cheap. Sometimes it's cheap because it's a cheap domain. That's probably not a domain name you should buy. Just let somebody else register it and build something on it. Probably not really much money there for us. Let's see here, luxury search. Let me scroll down to where it's visible. Did I click on the right one? No, that's laundry buy sell. Get rid of that garbage. Luxury, I don't even know if I could spell luxury, but luxurysearch.com ends in 2 days. Don't know if this is my kind of domain name, but let's go see what the keywords are. What do you expect to find on luxury search? I have no idea. Maybe a big ass e-commerce site where every different category of luxury is there to where you can go and find it. Like, oh my, that sounds like exhausting amounts of work to put something together that I have no interest in doing. So no money happening. I'm just going to close that domain name out. I'm not even going to summarize it at the end. Safety best, maybe. Corona passport. Buy employment. Got to watch out with the word buy. In fact, this is kind of funny. A few weeks back, probably 5 weeks back, I went on a rant talking about the word buy and how buy is a bad word. You don't want to own domain names with buy. The best version of buy is B-U-Y. Buy as in buy something. But the part of why buy is such a bad word is because there are other versions of buy. There's buy and buy transaction, and then there's buy like this, like who did it. And that day after I did that rant, I think that evening is when I sold and a domain name went into escrow that was, I think, buyshipping.com, which is just kind of funny. I found it ironic, and we talked about it upstairs. I never mentioned it here because it all happened over the last few weeks. But yeah, buyshipping.com. After I said that the word that buy is a bad word to own in domains, I mean, that one ended up selling. But it is the best version. B-U-Y is the best version of buy. So 142 weeks of domain to profit, 142 weeks. We're coming up on 3 years. We still got some time, still got a couple months before we hit 3 years, but that's crazy. 3 years. 3 years of domains. I'm sorry, let me give that an extra look. Okay. Sorry, I'm just going back up 1 second. Just Buyer Be Sure is kind of a fun domain name. Mostly because buyer beware, and that one's Buyer Be Sure. Pretty much garbage, it's just kind of fun. It's always fun to see what somebody else has registered. Like, I don't want to register it, I don't want it, but it's kind of fun. Churchforum.com, if it was 2005, that domain name would be fire. It'd be worth a lot of money, but still. Yeah, we're not going to celebrate quite yet. And in fact, I was just talking to Matt upstairs before the show. I think at 3 years, I think I have to make it to 3 years, but I'm probably going to take a little bit of a break and redo some stuff on the show. But we'll wait for that to actually happen. Have buy.productions and sell.productions. Oh, so like the one word, but not .com. Okay. I see. I see what's happening there. What do you think for this domain name? Indianapolis Rental Car. I do not like Indianapolis Rental Car. We got to watch out on geodomains. I'm sorry, let me put that up on the screen rather than just read it to myself. Please, Drew, what do you think for this domain name, Indianapolis Rental Car? I'm not a big fan of geodomains unless it is like really, really great. Indianapolis, good city. I mean, it's the capital of Indiana, for goodness sakes. The only thing is rental car. I don't know. It just you're up against such competition and stuff. So I avoid competition. You don't want competition. Like, you have to be tolerant of competition, and competition is good, but you don't want competition. That's why I'm into domain names. I am into domain names because I don't want competition, and having the best domain name in an industry allows you to not really have competition. Towing.com does not have competition. Nobody's going to out towing.com. Does that mean, like, that's the power of a great domain name. So I don't even know what I was going into there, but there you go. You don't want competition. So when you look at Indianapolis Rental Car or geodomains or just industries like rental cars or real estate or lawyers, some of those are such difficult industries to tackle that I would avoid them at all costs. The domain name seems like it's good, but there's just so many, like, they're just giant companies. They don't want to pay you. They don't want to be, in my opinion, that's going to be a difficult industry. If you're already in that industry, then that's great. If you're in those industries, you know how they work, then you should absolutely be gung-ho happy with that. But I wouldn't buy that domain name personally. Here we go again, furniture specialist. Furniture specialist, or furniture guru, furniture expert, furniture ninja. Again, specialist is one of my least favorite words for an expertise type domain name, but you know, there's value there, just not much. Okay, 10 minutes. We've not really had the greatest of domain names this week, but I saw that going in. I usually look at the first page real quick just to pull out the absolute rock star domains, and I was not seeing much this week. And that seems to be pretty accurate. We've looked through a lot of domain, well, only a couple hundred, but Zimbabweans, I don't even know if that really actually mattered, but that's a fun domain name. Anybody from Zimbabwe on here? That'd be kind of cool. Hello, guy. I like hi guy. Hi, guy. That's 5 letters, so it's probably worth something just for the fact that it's just 5 letters. So, chest bag, VIP globe. Goldsavings.com? Maybe. Moving on. Let's try to run down through this. I'm going to go real quick to see if I can get through another 200. Maybe less talking, more page downing. Let's see if we can find a great domain name. Great domain name. Who's getting a great domain name? We're getting a great domain name. Heel, Ohio, Safer Fresh. If I wasn't worried about making everybody's ears bleed, I'd be like super loud and stuff all the time. I'm a pretty excitable person sometimes. I try to keep it in check. Buylaundromats.com. Laundromats? Ooh, typo. Watch out, folks. Typos ruin lives. That's why we copy and paste them into SpyFu. SpyFu! That's right. Didn't know I could move that fast, did you? Oh, man. Cocktail map. Use the cocktail map. Oh, I'm so clicking on that. I like that. That one's fun. One bid already, ends in 3 days. There is nothing there. I'm not going to go look it up on SpyFu. But we saw a few weeks, months ago, there was something about like a bar map or something like that. Barmap.com, which is great because it was like, 6 characters. I loved that one. I think I put up, I was willing to pay a little bit of money for it. Didn't win. But Cocktail Map might be a nice option. I like it from the idea of like for events, people do pub crawls and type things, like a cocktail map. Like, go here and have the best, here are the best drinks, the best martinis, the best whatever. So you can have a cocktail map, put them out as promotional items. That is why it got added to my watch list. And as the owner of bartenders.com, I feel I am going to probably try to get that domain name. So sorry, whoever it is that has $12, I plan on getting it, assuming it doesn't go crazy. Island workers. Although the world goes crazy for job boards anymore, islandworkers.com, maybe. I don't know if people search for that. Yeah, maybe not. Sell your laundromat. Is that how you spell laundromat? Laundromat? I thought it was, anyhow, I can't spell, so nobody wants laundromats. I could tell you that as a person that runs I used to own a building, and if you've ever had a laundromat in it, they hate you. Dry cleaners are even worse. Gas stations, atrocious. You don't want those properties. You don't want to own one. I'm sure they're good money, though. The Typhoon. Trust Vegas. What? Like, no, don't trust Vegas. Avoid Vegas if you're looking for trust. Trust no one. Book specialist. Book specialist. No. Okay. Hi, Hugh. Nice to have you here. News generator. That one, that sounds like a AI waiting to happen. That's what we're going to be all running into. You won't be able to trust anything you read online anymore. Accounting, somebody must be, you see all these specialists, I don't know if they're just popping out because the word's been on top of my head today, but somebody must be letting go a lot of their specialists' domain names because they weren't worth what they thought they were. Don't be the one that goes and buys them all, because they're letting them go for a reason. I'm guessing a pro owned them and is figuring out that they weren't as good as what they had hoped. Alrighty, we made it through another one. Look at that, another drug specialist. If we were to go and do a search, in fact, let's go do it real quick. We have 5 minutes. I'm going to go to the top of the list. I'm going to go to filters, and I'm going to say specialist. So all I'm doing here, if you can see, I opened up my filters on expireddomains.net. This is the beauty of this site, is the filters, the ability to search through hundreds of thousands of domain names by a ton of different characteristics is just downright amazing. It is really fantastic that this free tool is available. Look at this. So what I'm loading here, 61 domain names. We've seen many of these. So as you can see, somebody is indeed losing or letting go of all their domain names. Now, when you look at it like this, you know, to own, yeah, they get really bad though. So some of these at the top of the list, drug specialist, that's not bad. Boat specialist. I don't like plural. I prefer singular. In fact, I might come back after the show. The singular ones, they're going to go for too much money probably. But if you're able to get like some of these for a few $100s, they are the kind of domain name you can sell for a few $1,000s within a few years, most likely. Most likely. You know, that's speculation, but it's possible. Okay, let's summarize things and wrap things up. Starting with cocktailmap.com, which is, I like it, but we did not look at it in SpyFu, just mostly because I just like it. Churchforum.com, again, if it was 2005, this domain name would be like worth a lot of money. Instead, now it's worth $55 and ends in 2 days. Brewtracker.com, again, that's just, I like it. As the guy that owns bartenders.com, I like these alcohol ones, even though I barely drink anymore, but still. LineMy, that's kind of, I like the domain hack of it. Did not look as good as what I had hoped. So Sales Scraps, if that was Sell Scrap, singular, great domain name. Since it's plural, it's kind of garbage. Start Your Adventure, I like it. Marketing domain, phrase that people have used in marketing campaigns. And it's just kind of a great, hey, start your adventure. It's your life. Go out there and live it. Startyouradventure.com. Good for travel especially. Rightmovers.com. Specialtyservice.com. Man. Investingguru.com. Tired of Guru. I believe in my wife. She's on to something. She said she's sick and tired of all the Guru stuff, and I'm like, okay. If she's sick of it, then it's Guru is done as a word pretty much. Working on it. I do like that one. That one's on my watch list. I will bid on that one. Ends in 3 days. $450 currently. RemoteLawyer.com, possibly one of the best domain names we saw today. The only thing is there's nobody searching for it. So speculation says it's going to be a good domain name probably in the future. But for now, $189, ends in 7 days. It will end up going for a decent amount, even though the search volume doesn't support it. Virtual Expert. I think this is a really good AI type domain name. People are going to be looking for expertise. They're going to be looking to AI more and more for it. VirtualExpert.com, $350 currently, ends in 6 days. ChargeMyCar.com, it's not a thing yet, keyword volume, but you can expect it to increase. If you can get it for cheap, then maybe you can build an app or something on it. But for the fact that it's going to require a lot of work to build out, and realistically, I don't know if there's going to be money there to be made. It might just be a fun project. $162 is already taking it above. It's kind of like fun project sounds, if I can get it for $100 or less, maybe $200. I don't like fun projects unless they're really fun. And there we go. There's the domain names for this week. Yeah, there we go. So what do we want to look at? I think with that said, how about we just kind of wrap things up a little bit? Okay. Well, the Discord server is up in the corner. You can see a few people have scanned it and are going to be joining us over there, which is always fun to have you over on Discord. I'll be on there a little more this week. I wasn't there almost at all last week because I was in Florida with my family and did not get on my laptop almost at all. So, yeah, there's that. I will spend some more time and will continue to tweet about domain names over the course of the week. And as always, if you subscribe, it's a good thing to do because if I go impromptu live, the notifications always will hit you that way. Well, I am Drew Wash. This is Domain to Profit. Thank you for joining me. See you over on the Discord server. And until then, or after then, or something like that, I'll see you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, for Domain to Profit as we continue to look through next week's expiring domain names. See you then.